Ukraine has announced a retaliatory strike against Russia for its attack on the Dnieper River using a new type ballistic missile. The Kremlin has hinted that it will continue attacks using the Oreshnik missile. Against the backdrop of the escalation in Ukraine, Western leaders are holding meetings and developing a joint strategy against Russia. A meeting between U.S. President-elect Donald Trump and the NATO Secretary General was due to take place in Florida. It has begun. The first snow in Poland is also usually the first big snowfall in Ukraine. In the east, this means a time called the offensive of General Mud. For a few weeks until the first severe frost, traffic off paved roads will be almost impossible for heavy equipment. Hence Russian preparations for a foot offensive. At least this is the tactic seen in the Kursk region in recent days.
Russia's amassing thousands and thousands of troops in the Kursk region, and most of them are now moving by foot. In addition, they've also shifted forces they've received from North Korea, up to 12,000 already, into the same region to start to push back Ukrainian forces.
Kursk, along with Donbass, is one of the main directions of the Russian assault. Putin wants to retake the region before starting any talks on negotiations. So much for the fact that the Ukrainians just got permission to use precision missiles in the area, which are already known to be deadly effective. In a recent attack on Russian underground quarters in Marino in the Kursk region, more than a dozen soldiers, including North Korean officers, were to lose their lives.
The situation in the front lines of the unprovoked Russian war against is difficult. Russia is attempting to gain territories with huge losses and equipment in manpower. That's why they invite the PRK. We are resisting against the new axis of evil and want to thank Paul and Swedish government for their firm support.
In the background, the fate of the new order, and more specifically the plan to build it, is being weighed. In Florida, President-elect Donald Trump has just met with the Secretary General of NATO.
There's got to be some face saving for the Ukrainians. There has to be an end to the war where the Ukrainians still have an independent country that the Russians are no longer bombing. When he says he's going to end the war, he needs to actually end the war. And I think if Putin refuses to accept that, then there probably will be direct consequences from a Trump administration against Russia.
What options are on the table after what Putin has done? Basically all of them at the moment. Firing a medium-range ballistic missile is a demonstration not so much of strength as of unpredictability.
It appears dangerous, but I think we should also not let ourselves be intimidated and cowed by these threats from Russia and by its escalatory actions. That's precisely what Putin wants. He wants to really cow the Western countries and the Ukrainians into saying, okay, we give up.
Is it possible to ignore the Kremlin's threats? Certainly not. But talking about a third world war is definitely an exaggeration. All the more so since the slogan, peace through strength, is to become one of the key strategies of the West, which by its very definition excludes giving Putin the initiative.